all three watched the Tina Turner documentary on HBO. It was just simply called Tina, and it was like
was
her song,
fantastic.
simply the best.
It was great.
It was so great. And I don't think any of us read I, Tina, her authorized biography that Kurt Loder wrote with her cooperation. Did you ever read it, Rocco?
No.
So I think, for someone who didn't read that that book, the documentary was very eye-opening on, like, I didn't know that she felt abandoned by her parents, particularly her mother. I mean,
I only knew all this because she was just profiled in Parade magazine a couple months ago. So I read up on all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, she had a hard life.
Yeah, I also didn't know that, the record companies were so dismissive of her after she left Ike Turner, because that's the story we know up to that point. And then
from the 1993 biopic, What's Love Got to Do with It?
So we knew that part, but like how hard, and Roger Davies fought for her. But the fact that Tina Turner, as a woman who's, early 40s, a Black woman succeeding in a music industry and becoming the top person in the world in the mid 80s when it's dominated by guys and these kinds of bands is really quite incredible when you look back on it, and that she didn't like that song, What's Love Got to Do with It? And
that was
That
was one of my, Rocco, what did you think?
Yeah, and it had been already done by some European quartet.
That footage was great.
It was
that
like
they
a
showed
off-brand ABBA.
Yeah.
And it was kind of done, the documentary was done, if people were familiar with the Beach Boys documentary. So you sat down with Tina Turner and then you filled in all this footage and all these other interviews and
performances.
The performances and the backgrounds and everything. But that album, that was a life changer when that Private Dancer, when that came out in
84.
84. I was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well,
we played it over and over. It was like our anthem.
Rocco, did you like it when it first came out?
I was like, 12 or 13, but I still liked, those songs were great, even though she wasn't really my jam. I remember really falling in love with her like at Live Aid.
Yes.
When she was on stage with Mick Jagger and he ripped her skirt off and it was super sexy. And I was like, wow, because those songs, Private Dancer and What's Love Got to Do with It, that's kind of light rock.
I loved it. It was right in my wheelhouse.
I Can't Stop the Rain.
Right.
But when you see her in the 60s and 70s, she is just a lightning bolt.
She's unbelievable. And it made me mad all over again. When they showed the scene of Tina Turner with Angela Bassett for What's Love Got to Do with It, it was going to be at the Venice Film Festival. And she said, I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it. It's too painful.
She was asked by a reporter, have you seen the documentary? And the movie. And she said, no, I haven't seen it.
The story was actually written so I would no longer have to discuss the issue. And Angela Bassett's just got this tight smile. It's kind of an awkward moment.
Very awkward.
She said
they're doing publicity for the film.
But at the same time, it's a remarkably honest answer from Tina Turner. And we see in the documentary all these journalists feeling like they can bring up the abuse that she suffered at Ike's hand over and over again. Like it's now this is part of your identity rather than thinking we can move on. But that's sort of the treatment too, that like you're not defined as much by yourself as you are by this man still is what that question.
And we talked about that with the Aretha Franklin thing, Genius, how she was able to control her story. So it wasn't about her being this young 12-year-old mother and everything.
Right.
We didn't know any of that. But like I said, Tina Turner, she was defined as an abusive woman by Ike Turner. I mean, it just stayed with her always, but she's so much more.
And it made me mad all over again that Angela Bassett did not win the Oscar for What's Love Got to Do with It, which I will stop and watch anytime I see that playing. I love that movie because the performance.
She won a Golden Globe.
No, but Holly Hunter for the piano won the Oscar. Now, how many times have you watched piano? Once.
That's because it was very powerful that one time I saw it.
No. So
it was,
and I guess, that was the other thing too in watching this documentary is that how close and how accurate of course, she did cooperate with the movie, but about her leaving Ike in Dallas, running across the freeway in the white
almost
suit.
getting hit by a truck.
Right.
Very vivid.
Not having a credit card to check into the
Nothing.
Ramada.
And right down to the scene with the manager. I'm Tina Turner, and she's all beat up. And
Right.
I mean, that was like, whoa, she did. She
cooperated in the
with the
biopic.
movie.
Yeah.
So she just said she was hoping she wouldn't have to talk about it. And we basically find out at the end of the documentary, and her husband says, her making this documentary, having the musical, and they showed, remember when she and Oprah and then her husband walked the red carpet
a couple
Tina,
years
the
ago.
musical?
Yep.
And
because she's been private, because she had a stroke in 2013.
Right.
She had to learn how to walk again in 20.
But they didn't address any of that.
But just so people know, she had a stroke in 2013.
Right. But I mean, it wasn't in there. So this has been in the works. So that was a deliberate thing. But I love that she lives in this beautiful place, and she's so happy with Ernest.
She's a Buddhist.
Her husband.
Well, when I think back, Rocco, in 2008, I think that was the year she was at the Target Center, and we took Mom and Annie Catherine.
Oh. I taught you girls how to upgrade your tickets.
So we all go on the floor at the Target Center, and my mom and Annie Catherine's half the size of me and a foot shorter. It's my mom's sister. And those two gals were so delighted that night.
My mom saw that 2008 tour because my brother was like,
we might not. Sold out.
It was sold out.
Sold out worldwide. Kind of one of the older women on tour that could sell out stadiums and everything.
Great. And
we're talking about Tina Turner.
I had $200 in cash, Rocco, and I had my printout of the Target Center.
Oh, right. This is your move.
And I went out to the scalpers, and I traded our section 125 to the main floor for $200 and those tickets. And your mom and Auntie Catherine were so impressed.
Nice.
And just their joy. That was an amazing show. It really...
It made me so happy to watch that. To watch Aretha this last week, and then to see this Tina documentary. And even though, they didn't talk about race or anything, because, to think of how she grew up and everything that's happened to her, but she just didn't want to have that be part of the story of this documentary.
She talks a lot about forgiveness too.
Very much so. Kurt Loder, I had no idea he was that much older than me back in the day.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the guy who kept talking from, it looked like a ballroom.
Right.
He
was like a Rolling
guy.
Stone writer who eventually became like MTV news guy.
And he wrote I, Tina with her.
Got it.
He was her writer. So I like, the people that were talking, on camera and sharing. I wish they would have had Mick Jagger talking about it when she taught him
that'd be
to
fun
dance.
to talk about Live Aid, And she taught him to dance,
in the 60s.
Boy, it's so fun to watch the old footage, and then to see her headline like a stadium in Rio and playing in front of 180,000 people.
Yeah.
And sounding amazing.
Amazing. And her body and the chainmail mini dresses.
Don't you remember I was her for Halloween?
Oh, yeah.
And work approved me getting the wig and everything.
Yeah,
I remember.
You got it
I
from
still
the
have.
Costume
I
shop.
did at the costume shop downtown St. Paul, and I still have that red dress and the wig.
Yeah.
She was everything.
Yeah.
But she still is. But she really has been a fighter since. I'm just saying the health part that she doesn't want you to know. She had a stroke, had to learn how to walk again in 2013. She had intestinal cancer. She had a kidney transplant. She's been really struggling with health stuff. So that's why she's been so private.
Got it.
And didn't want to do a lot of things.
Well, it makes me want to go to Broadway and see Tina Turner,
no kidding.
the musical.
Yeah. Is that going to come back post-COVID?
It will come back. It got shut down. It had been on Broadway for like a year and very good reviews, unlike The Cher.
Well,
right.
And we all know why that one didn't work out. Let's do a past show.